One day, and this was during homecoming, which that's what made me think of this story, is tomorrow's homecoming at my old high school. And after my sophomore year, which I'm about to explain, since homecoming day let out at like 12:30, 11 o'clock, after sophomore year, I skipped it every year. I never went, I never bothered, and it was great. But none can top the first time we did it. 'Cause typically, homecoming week involves a bunch of stuff. There's always a different days like pajama day, decade day. It's just stuff to inject some fun and keep it interesting. I think we had toga day my senior year. Seniors, I think toga days remained a tradition for some time. But anyway, sophomore year, I get to school and I rode with my sister who parked in the senior parking lot. And most of my buddies all parked there too. And we're kind of standing around talking, not really in any hurry to go in because homecoming day, there is nothing to do. There's no, like, you eat like a random breakfast and then it's, I think, doing some random Mid-South pageants. Now, the year before, they canceled everything because there was a bonfire and there was a huge fight, and they canceled everything because of that, and people were not happy. But anyway, a buddy of mine, Charles, pulls up with another one of our friends, and he's like, guys, we're just skipping because there's nothing to do today. And Charles had come up with a brilliant idea. We all looked at each other. It was me, Mike and Carrie, and some other people. We were like, yeah, let's skip. So every last, there was like 5 or 6 of us, we just skipped and went to another guy's house. And we hung out there all day and played poker. Now, I think Mike couldn't skip because he was in the band, and Joe was there too. He couldn't skip either. They both ended up going. It's like, yeah, we gotta, because Joe was the mascot, and Mike was in the band. We're driving along, and we notice there's a sign for the junior class that they put up on the catwalk. And we, of course, immediately get out of our car, grab some keys, and take the sign down, and we carried it around all day. And we played poker, we ordered pizza, and one of our friends, he needed to go to school, or he didn't go to school, so he decided to take the day off work. He had to go into work. We played football. We did all kinds of stuff, and we'd ordered pizza, and back then everybody was broke. Not many of us were working because we played poker for a pittance, like $1, $2, but poker was booming. Every Tuesday night we were watching the World Series. And we'd ordered pizza, and Joe and Mike show up after school, and Joe just walks up to the pizza box like he owns the place and eats 2 slices of pizza. And that made me mad. I was like, you just gonna do whatever you want and not pay any money? And he was just generally being a dick, like he always was. And I'm sure he was telling a few lies and stories about himself, about how during homecoming he was elected king and queen somehow, because he was just that awesome. And there were a couple other guys there that did not like Joe. They couldn't stand him. And Joe had brought his mascot head. And they ended up, like, just to piss Joe off, they put the mascot head in a basketball goal. It was immature and childish. It was a stupid prank. And Joe comes outside and he's like, what's going on, guys? What have y'all been doing? Here y'all trying to mess with me. And then somebody throws a football at the basketball goal they put it in. Because you could lower the goal was part of it. We put it up there. And he got mad. He asked me to take it down. I said, I didn't put it up there, man. And I really didn't. I wasn't in on this. But I did eventually find it amusing. A couple other guys had done it, and I didn't do it, and he was trying to make somebody take it down, because one thing about Joe is he really thought he was hard and tough and a badass. That wasn't some of the other stories he would tell. Just about how tough he was, and how every time you mentioned somebody, he'd talk about how he whooped their ass or could whoop their ass. You know, typical bullshit. And he's getting madder and madder. He's like, if somebody didn't take that down, I'm gonna start wailing on somebody. And we all just laughed. And he got mad, and then they eventually they took down the basketball goal and gave him his head, and he started crying. He really did this. He cried, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, y'all were horrible people for doing that. Yeah, he kind of deserved it, and I had nothing to do with it. Again, I didn't do anything. But I think he claims he was crying because we made him late to the game, which I really don't think is true, because it was literally a straight shot from where we were. You could get there in 5 minutes. And he was mad about that, and ended up hanging out with another guy, going to his house, and we went and ate at McDonald's. And they got to the game, and Joe was selling split the pot. He said, "You better buy from me after what you did." I said, "Dude, I did not do anything." And then Joe, my dad came through. He went to the game with my sister. Joe was like, "I was going to have to whoop your son's ass today." That's what he told my dad. And my dad didn't care for Joe either. And my dad was just like, "As to that, if you can whoop it, you're welcome to it. But I think you're in over your head here, son." And left it at that, because Dad wasn't going to put up with any shit from him. And went to the game, and we, of course, lost homecoming. We lost by 1 point. And everybody was mad, and everybody was sad. And then that night, we went and rolled yards. So that was a great day. Like, we played poker all day. Like, the thrill of skipping school the way we did, because I hadn't done it before then. And that kind of led me down the road to missing a lot of school, and led a lot of other people to, and I encourage other people to skip homecoming. And it was just all in all a fun day. And hearing about homecoming coming up tomorrow just made me think of it, and how much of a blast that was. Because especially when we used that flag as capes at the game, which was pretty funny. But A+ experience.